Let's go to Barkley. Charles Barkley, for whatever reason, cannot get it out of his mind that LeBron James is 42 years old. Every time every time Charles Barkley talks about LeBron James, he's always saying, oh, well, he always has to have a stacked deck. He always has to have a perfect team. He always has to have... It's like, dude, he's 42 years old now. What did you want him to do? Stay on a bad team that doesn't have an opportunity to win? At 42 years old, why do you still play? You think Tom Brady was going to go to any team after he left the Patriots? No, he picked the Bucks. You know why he picked the Bucks? Because he knew, they got a lot of talent over here. They got these wide receivers over here. They got these young defensive guys. Oh, they got a spot here at tight end. Hey, call my man. Yo, Gronk, what's up, man? You want to come over here? Want to come through? But no one talks about Tom Brady being, oh, you picked your team. You fucking right, I'm going to pick my team. That's what free agency is called for. When you're free, you can go where you want to go. When you are on a team and you can be able to have the ear of a general manager and then you can be able to get players that you want to play with, what's the problem with that? And here's why I have an issue. So I'll go ahead and play this little clip here.
Hey, Smith, that's why I thought you had a problem that LeBron's always stacking his teams.
Yeah, that's been one of my most people criticize him for that. He always stacks his team.
But what's wrong with wanting to build a team that can win a championship or going to?
First of all, let's see. There you go. He didn't build a team. He manufactured.
He built a team in Los Angeles. They were bad before he got there.
And his agency forced him to trade for Anthony Davis, who was ran by his group.
Okay, but he didn't go to a team that was stacked.
No, he did. Listen, Anthony Davis, everybody in the league would have wanted Anthony Davis. Plus specifically said he has to go to the Lakers. That's a fact, Dan.
But you still had to pull off the trade to get him. They didn't say, oh, here you go.
He said he would only go to the Lakers. He said he would, like everybody wanted Anthony Davis. But Clutch said, no, he can only go to the Lakers. It is what it is. It's a fair criticism. You think that's naturally organic? No, that is stacking your team.
But that's LeBron's power.
Oh, okay. And
he deserves that credit that guys want to play with him.
And we can't criticize it if we think
Thank you. That's the thing. Is that at 42 years old, you still have players out there that still want to play with him. He went to the Philadelphia 76ers. They have a good team. They went ahead and put together a very good roster that they can be able to compete for a title this year probably. But here's the thing that I always love when I hear Charles Barkley, of all people, speak, is that I know who he is. And he can fool everybody else. But for somebody that grew up watching 90s basketball, oh, you can't fool me. Because I was there. I was there when, right before you went to Phoenix, you tried to go to the Blazers.
To Portland one summer, because I said, listen, y'all got a good team, but y'all can't play in the half court. You're not going to win a championship unless you trade for me. I flew to Portland, spent a day with the Portland GM, and said, listen, these are the guys you can give up for me because I need this guy, this guy, this guy. We sit there for like 3 hours going over everything. He says, Charles, I'll get back to you. He calls me the next day. He says, we're not going to trade for you. And I was pissed.
He doesn't remember that, does he? And you know what happened? And this was way back then. We're talking about early 90s, right? He called Portland and said, hey, called the GM, met with the GM and said, this is how I can be able to fit in with this team. You know who was on that team that time? You had Clyde Drexler. That was a great Blazers team. And yet he wanted to join the Blazers. Oh, is that not joining a stacked deck? You tried to orchestrate a trade to the Blazers. And the Blazers GM said, yeah, after we thought about it, no, we're not going to make a deal for you. So you figured out and you went somewhere else. Cool. But you tried to stack the deck in Portland. So you're mad at somebody that was doing the same thing that you were doing. But you know the difference is that somebody has a higher profile. And there's always going to be a little envy there, right? LeBron James has 4 rings. You know how many rings Charles Barkley has? Jelly donut. 0. So it's funny, the pot calling the kettle black. You're mad at somebody that has the opportunity to try to get as much good players as possible when you tried to do the same shit. Let's go ahead and fast forward. After your years in Phoenix, where did you try to go? You tried to go to the Houston Rockets. They had Olajuwon, they had Drexler, they had all of these other players, right? They came off back-to-back championships in 94, 95, right? Where did you try to go? You went to Houston. At the end of your career. What are we talking about here? Sometimes I feel like we live in the fucking Twilight Zone. Like we literally just dropped into like dimension 10. Where nothing matters anymore. Like people can't go ahead and fact check you or go back and look at history. It's written right there. You tried to do the same shit. So how do you criticize a guy when you tried to do it in an era where free agency wasn't as rampant as it was now? Explain. That's what I want somebody to ask him. And if he answers that question with anything other than, yeah, you're right, you're full of shit. Every time LeBron James has left a team, it's been through free agency. That's when you have the ability to leave. Hell, the CBA now, they don't even have long-term deals anymore. There are no long-term deals in basketball. The most you can get is 5 years. Why is that? Because free agency is a big proponent of the sport. They welcome player movement. What are we talking about here? When Barkley played, that it wasn't so rampant, so you had to either stick with a team. You think if free agency was as rampant as it was back in the late 80s and 90s, you don't think that players would have moved around more? Yeah, dog, I think I want to play over here. I like this situation. Oh, you're over here? Of course they would have. They didn't have that type of like freedom to do so. You had to be stuck on a team for X amount of time, and then when a franchise gets tired of your ass, then that's when you get traded, or you go ahead and you go to the GM and then you say, hey, get me out of here. There was no ability to be able to mold and shape where you wanted to go all the time. So what the fuck is he talking about? So again, you tried to stack the deck in Portland. Explain that. Kobe Bryant, the guy that you said is the second best player in the world to you ever. Cool. He tried to stack the deck here in LA. He tried to. And he succeeded. Oh, you guys don't want to put a winner around me? Then let me go. I want to get traded. I want to go to the Bulls. Nah, Kobe, we're not going to trade you to the Bulls. Okay, cool. Then go ahead and go get me some players. Okay, Kobe, we'll go get you Pau Gasol. Is that cool? Yeah, that's great. 2 championships later. So again, it's always convenient when they throw jabs at LeBron, but nobody else gets it. Nobody else talks about Jordan wanting Dennis Rodman on the team and made sure that he got Rodman on the team to be able to keep that championship edge going with the Chicago Bulls. Like, you're always going to want to pick your guys. If you have the ability to do so, then do it. You'd be a fucking moron if you have the ability to try to get players that you want to play with and you don't take advantage of it.
Dummy, yeah.
What are we talking about? This is not even like defending LeBron. It got nothing to do with defend. I'm defending the ability to be able to change your circumstances. I don't care who it is. Because at the end of the day, like, KD chose to go there. You had this guy that chose to go there. You got this, like, players move around. You have different situations. You got guys that can be able to create a better advantage for themselves. Cool. That's the game. That's the nature of the beast. Now you got to go ahead and try to stop them. It's just the game. So stop bitching about it. Stop complaining. I'm not trying to okay, cool, but stop phrasing it in a way that it sounds derogatory. Everybody's going to want to. Why do you think free agency is there? People go to places that they want to go to. I'm going here because they have the money that is comfortable for me, as well as I like the players that they currently have. That's why you sit down and meet with teams to see what the scheme is, what the game plan is, and how do I fit here. You're just going to sign to a team blindly? You're going to put his blindfold on and just throw a dart at the board? Yeah, we're going there. That's not what people do. You pick your circumstances. Your job. When you're going job hunting, you're going to pick somewhere where you can be able to get the most money, and maybe it's close to your home. Maybe it's somewhere where transportation-wise you can be able to attain and get there. You're not going to go take a job in fucking New Mexico when you live in New York. Even if they're paying you $300,000, how you going to get there? So again, you handle your circumstances. You pick and choose where you want to go. That's just the way things work. But it's like, if somebody else is saying this, and then you can be able to give me a different take or a different angle, I can be able to listen to that. That's fine. Not Charles Barkley. You are not the dude to tell me about that. You are not the dude to complain about somebody always trying to stack the deck when you yourself tried to fucking stack the deck multiple times in your career.
If I play again, it's going to have to be an ideal scenario. I'm going to have to be with some really good players, guys who really want to win the championship, and that would be the best for me. I don't want to rebuild. I don't want to play on a mediocre team. There's only like 5 or 6 really good teams in the NBA. And if I could play for the championship, that's the only goal I have left to accomplish. I wish it could be here in Phoenix, but they've just done a bad job with our team.
I don't listen to hypocrites. He's a legend, respect him, but he's a fucking hypocrite. And again, this is not defending LeBron James. This is defending the ability to be able to choose your own path. LeBron James is the one that really opened up the opportunity for players to be able to take the power in their careers and be able to move around. When him and Dwayne Wade were rookies, they had the ability to sign a 5-year rookie extension. They chose to sign a 3-year extension because they wanted to now have the control in their careers to be able to dictate where they wanted to go earlier than what franchises were comfortable with. Before then, players were just like, okay, there's an automatic 5-year extension. Let me sign it. They were just like, nah, I want to control my own destiny. Why should I ever look at a guy like that and hate on that? He's allowed players to be able to do that willingly, whether they do it, in a good way or it turns out a bad way. It's their decision at the end of the day. Take the control back. So I'm not with the hypocritical points, man. He went on Stephen A. Smith to go talk the same bullshit.
every loss. Every second got a cost to be the boss. Late nights, pressure heavy, never fold. Championship mindset, heart made of purple and gold.